and I'm the wind. I am for real, and I'm pretend. I am Musa, I am Jesus, I am Judas. I am the judge, I am the victim, and I'm the shooter.
So this video in particular comes from a dream, but I'm going to tie it into something that happened to me, only because I don't want to focus too much on the dream in this aspect, just because of the nature of the dream. What I will say is that in this particular dream that I had, right, there was a mother who was famous. Like, this mother was famous. I saw this woman going up to a podium, getting ready to deliver a speech. It was live. It was being streamed live across like multiple social media platforms. It was all being filmed. There were all these people there, and there was like this select group of people that wanted to ask you questions. They wanted your insight about something, right? And it had to actually do with something like either magical, or it was something to do with like, it was either something to do with like you being psychic and you having abilities, and also it was tied into like almost like mental health, right? It was like this lecture that you were giving, right? Where these like people were there for you, and you took your child with you, right? And then in this dream, something happened where there was like this like everybody just, they turned all the lights off, they turned all the electricity off, and everybody's like, what's going on? It turned out that there was like an active I don't think I can say the word, even though he said it in the song in the intro. There was an active, I'm just gonna say shooter, right? There was an active shooter in the building. So they were trying to like get everybody out. It was in a college, right? Because I remember them being like in this auditorium, and everyone's running, and they're like, hey, let's go to there's like a classroom downstairs. Let's everyone go and barricade in the classroom. So everyone takes off running, but the person, this divine feminine, goes looking for her child, because she's like, no, I brought my child with me. Let me find my child. So, you know, being a mother first, this person goes looking for their child, and their child is being hard-headed. They're not listening. This is a teenager, of course. They're not paying attention. They're on their phone, so they have no idea what's going on. And the mother is like, hey, we have to go now. And this child is being extremely defiant, almost to a point where even before you realize what's going to happen, you know something is wrong. Because this child, like, if you're somewhere and the electricity and everything all of a sudden goes out, you would think that this child would go looking for their mother, like, hey, what's going on? Is there an outage? What's happening? But this child was being extremely defiant, to the point where, like, you could sense something was not right, right? So the mother literally grabs the child by the arm and is like dragging the child, like, hey, we have to go find this classroom. Now, this mother doesn't know where she's going. And at this point, everybody else is gone. Because when they're going out, they're saying like, hey, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. I know you're scared. Don't make a lot of noise. So everyone's running, but everyone's doing so silently. So this mother is dragging her child. They're running. They're trying to find this classroom. They're trying to find where everybody else went, even though at this point, they really should be finding any empty classroom to barricade themselves in. But they're running, right? And all of a sudden they hear the people, right? They hear the people who have come in to do whatever they've come to do, right? And all of a sudden, the child starts like the child stops, and the mother and the child are literally like, the mother is trying to pull the child, like, be quiet, get low, let's go. They're close, and the child is like not moving, and the mother is like, what are you doing? Like, what? I don't understand what's going on right now. Like, what is this? What are you doing? We have to go. Do you not understand what's happening right now? And then the child starts breathing really loud, like almost like asthma, but the child doesn't have asthma. The child is like doing this thing where and it's a female child, where the child is like like almost like they're out of breath, but they're not, right? So this child, sorry, I didn't mean to get loud. This child starts like really, really heavily breathing, and the mother's like, what the, and the mother's like, you know what, I'm sorry, and this is like, it's like one of those like painful things. This mother is like, look, I don't know whether or not you understand like what's going on, but these people are coming, and they're here, and I think they're here for me. And the mother's like, we have to get out of here. Are you coming or are you not? At this point, it's like, and you know, most people would not do this, or most mothers would not do this, but this mother is at this point, this mother is sensing that something here is not right. Something here is like very off. So this mother is like, look, are you coming or are you not? Because we have to get out of here. And then the child is just laying there, right? And just laying there like lifeless. So the mother is like, I'm sorry, I love you. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you're doing, but I have to get out of here, right? So the mother turns to take off running, and the child grabs the mother by their pants leg and is holding. And so the mom is like, are you coming? Like, are you coming? And then literally the child is like pulling back so the mother can't go. So then they sit in there and they get into this not fight, but like tussle, where the mother is trying to get the child to let her go. And all while this is happening, the child is still very, very, very loudly breathing. So then the shooter, the person, gets to them, and they're discovered, and the mother looks, and she's like in fear, like she's in complete fear. And then she looks at her child, and her child is grinning, right? Grinning almost to the point where they're like trying to hold back a laugh. But the child literally has this devilish smile, right? Like from ear to ear, like this grin from ear to ear. And when the mother realizes that it's their child that set them up the whole time, right? Which is crazy. So I don't want to focus too much on that, but what I will say is that if you are a divine feminine and you have a child, a teenage child, for some of you this could be a grown child, like maybe like early 20s, right? But in this dream, it was a teenage child, right? Like high school teenage, like still in school, still living at home child. This is a child that is very, very, very defiant, right? This is a child that probably, I don't know why I kept hearing like drives you up the wall, right? This is a child that definitely drives. This is, and you know, everyone is different. I'm not here to criticize anyone's motherhood. Gentle parenting is not for everyone because some of these children are not gentle whatsoever, right? But you know, you have some parents who are like overly protective. Some parents who like are when it comes to college age, are gonna have a hard time letting go. And then you have some parents who are like waiting for college years. You have some parents who are waiting. I don't know why, like, I'm getting like this mental picture of like this mom, right? Their child going off, and this is like someone who you work in a career where maybe like traveling is an option, right? My sister actually. This has nothing to do with anything, right? I just thought it was interesting because I never knew about this, right? I know that there are certain careers, specifically in healthcare, that you can travel with, right? I know like travel nurses, travel doctors make a crap ton of money, right? But my sister is actually going to school for nutrition, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about when I graduate." Traveling. And I was like, what? And I was like, you can do that? And she was like, yeah, you've never heard of a travel nutritionist or travel dietitianist? No, I have not. I did not know that was a thing. And she was like, yeah, she was like, actually, I'm sorry, that's my chair squeaking. I was trying to readjust. But anyways, I'm sitting in my car. Anyways, she was like, yeah, with the shortage in healthcare, you know, being basically across the board at this point, she was like, there have been a lot more positions that have opened up. Like, I didn't even realize that like CNAs could travel. I didn't realize it. Like there is such a, you could literally, for anyone who maybe you're a younger listener, or maybe like you're a listener who's my age, or maybe you're a listener who's older, right? And you're at that point where you're like, I need a change in career. I need something different. I kind of maybe fell into the career that I'm doing. I've been doing it for 10, 15, however many plus years, and I'm ready for something different, but I don't want to go back to school and do all of this. I actually had a dream last year about this actually father and daughter, which was really kind of interesting to me, about this father and daughter, and this mother and daughter. Actually, it was a grandfather, it was a father, a mother, and a daughter, right? So the mother and the daughter, and then the mother, so it was like a grandfather, a mother, and a daughter, right? That were actually traveling together. They had all gone back and got their the granddaughter had just graduated. She went and got her CNA license. The mother went back to school, and the grandfather went back to school to get their CNA certification. And in this dream, the three of them traveled together as CNAs, which last year was my first time actually learning that CNAs can travel, phlebotomists can travel, right? There is such a shortage that really any sort of clinical aspect, not like administrative, which I don't know, that may be open too, but any sort of clinical aspect that you do in healthcare can pretty much travel at this point, which I thought was interesting, right? But anyways, back to the story. I was getting like, even like describing the dream, I was getting this mental image of someone. It doesn't even have to be healthcare. You could work in IT and travel. There's so many opportunities out there. People, you know, do your research. Lots of opportunities out there. But I literally got this image of this mother, like literally like their child walking across the stage, graduating, and then fast forwarding to like them helping their child move into the dorms in college. And this mother literally going back home, packing up all of her stuff and getting on the road and traveling to the point where like, pretty much at this point, like your child has to figure it out at this point because there's nothing for them to come home to because everything is gone, right? And not doing it like selfishly, because I had friends when I was in college that had, you know, difficult childhoods growing up, and they didn't like, I had one friend that literally went to school year round, right? I had one friend that actually got dual degrees because I was like, if you go to school year round, then you're going to graduate sooner. So this person ended up getting like dual degrees. But I know one friend who I had who took like bare minimum, like he would take 12 classes in the fall, and then he would take one class because the summer semesters were broken up into like the June semester and the July semester, right? Or like summer session 1 and 2. So he would take 12 hours in the fall, 12 hours in the spring, which would only give him like 24, and you know you need like 15 in order to get that 30 to go from freshman to sophomore, and then 60 from sophomore to junior, then 90 from junior to senior. I mean, you get the picture, right? So he would take 12 during the year, or 12 in each semester, which would give him 24, and he would always be 6 credits short. So then he would go to school over the summer and you have to take at least 6 hours over the summer. You can take like 9, but I think the minimum or the max you can take is like 2 classes per summer session. So only 2 in June and 2 in July, since you're in class every day of the week, right? So he would take like 1 class each session just so he could qualify to stay on campus. So literally, like once he went to college, he never went back home. He stayed on campus up until the point of him graduating. So he did that strategically, right? So this is something that, like, unfortunately, this child is going to have to look into doing, not because they don't want to go home, but because, like, the mother is gone and there's nowhere to go home to, right? But this is like, just to get back to the message, this is like for a mom, right? A divine feminine who your child may also be into spirituality, right? If you have a very defiant child, specifically if you're a mother with a daughter. I'm getting like same gender, right? Maybe you're a father with a son, but I'm getting heavy like divine feminine energy if you're a mother with a daughter, right? And you all have a very tumultuous relationship. If your daughter is into, oh, I see two cats. I'm sitting in the parking lot because I just left from somewhere and I wanted to record this message before I went home, because whenever it hits me to like stop and record now, I stop and record regardless of like where I'm at, right? It's two beautiful cats, as a matter of fact, too. Anyways, if your female child is into spirituality, definitely make sure you're protecting yourself. You know, sea salt showers, whatever you need to do, make sure you're spiritually protecting yourself, because if your child is trying different curses and attack spells, they are trying them on you. Your child is trying them on you, and I'm not here to judge. I don't know what may have happened or what may have perspired for where this child feels so angry towards you. And I'm not even saying it's divine feminine's fault, because even in the dream, this was a very, very, very defiant child. And I really don't know like what happens and why. And I guess like I don't really want to call it a personality disorder, although in some cases it technically could be. Maybe if your child is still young enough to where you have time, consider going to get your child some counseling. Heavy. If you have a very defiant teenage child and your child is still like high school age to where like, you know, they're still in your home and you still have like the end say so, definitely consider going to get your child some counseling, because for some reason your child is harboring a lot of ill feelings and ill will towards you. And for some of you, this might not even be spiritual. Your child may be doing something behind the scenes. I don't know if they're helping. Maybe if you and the other parent have a very tumultuous co-parentship and the other parent is trying something, your child may actually be aiding the other parent and doing something to help bring you down. But this is definitely a child, and the two cats just disappeared. Okay, whatever. This is definitely a child who is trying to bring you down in some shape, form, or fashion, right? But I don't want to keep talking about that. I didn't want to talk about it at all. And now here I am like 15 minutes into my video and it's all I've talked about, right? But anyways, the superpower, right, for the chosen ones, I'm going to do a short. I'm going to link it to this video. For 2025, the superpower for the chosen ones, right, is going to be return to sender. That's going to be your superpower for this year, chosen ones, is going to be return to sender. You know, it's crazy when they talk about like manifesting and trying to, people are like, oh, if you want to manifest this, do this, or if you want to protect against this, do that. But like, to be honest, the random thoughts that you get, right, the most random things that just come into your mind where you think, oh, maybe I should try this, or oh, maybe I should do this, or oh, maybe I should try that is your higher self. And sometimes it's your spirit guides, your angels, your deities, your demons, whoever you work with. I'm not here to judge. I work on the left hand path. I also work on the right hand path. I'm a middle pather. I am more favorable at the left hand path, but that's neither here nor there at this moment, right? If you like, when you get those little inner thoughts, right, that come to mind, those will work so much better for you and will produce better results than you going and listening to someone else say what worked for them. What's good, how to say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Not in this case. What's good for the goose when it comes to spirituality is not necessarily what's good for the gander, because there are going to be some things that are going to work for you that won't work for others. And there'll be some things that people be like, oh, well, so-and-so said do this and that, and I did it and it didn't work. That's because that wasn't meant for you. If that was something that came to them that they tried, that they were like, oh, well, I know this does this, so I'm going to combine this with this and do that, and it worked for me, that's because that was something that their higher self or their guides gave to them. Their ancestors gave to them. It was for them. It was particularly tailored for them. So those inner thoughts that you get, those random thoughts that you get, go with that, right? Go with that. So like coming into the new year, right, the 31st of December and the 1st of January, I kept getting this notion where I was like, I did not want to be bothered. I wanted my energetic slate to be clean, right? I had the opportunity to actually go in and work that night because we were shorthanded at my job, but I was like, no, I do not want to go into the new year working overtime, pulling all these extra hours, because I don't want that. I don't want working too hard to set the tone for my new year, right? I already feel like I went backwards because I went from working, I'm putting some alcohol in my hands, so that's what that noise was. But I went from working a weekend shift that I absolutely loved because it gave me so much, like it wasn't even equal, what do you call it? Like people want, like a work-life balance. It was balanced for me, but it wasn't even a balance. Like I had more life than work, right? I had the perfect schedule. And because I wanted to try out a different position, try out something new, I went back to a traditional 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and now I feel like I'm always working. So I feel like I went backwards in that aspect, and I shall not, right, go into the new year working overtime. I'm not setting that energy for this year, right? So I relaxed because I'm going to go back to my old schedule. So I wanted to bring in the new year setting the energy of me relaxing, being back in my comfortable, relaxed state, right? So anyways, I got this notion where I was like, okay, I did not want to be bombarded. I did not want my relaxation to be compromised or to be interfered with by the energy of others, right? So something told me, because it's going into the new year and I know I'm going to have family and friends and people, you get people who you don't even talk to that much, who want to send greetings for the holidays and all that stuff. You get those group texts, which I absolutely hate. I was like, since I know that that's going to happen, what I'm going to do is return to sender. Everyone that reached out to me between December 31st and January 1st, right? From midnight December 31st all the way until 11:59 January 1st, right? Everyone who reached out to me, whatever they said, it does not matter. My first response was return to sender. Like if someone, gave me a season's greetings for the new year, and I'm not going to say it because it's actually a bad omen. I replied with return to sender. And then I followed up with, and I hope you have a wonderful new year as well, right? I did that for everybody. And not even surprisingly, right? Because I kept getting this notion that doing this is going to show me who's really putting on a mask, right? So I did this for everybody, and every response that I got was thank you. Someone responded thank you, best wishes. And then one person, literally out of everyone that I replied to with return to sender and then hope you have a wonderful new year too, only one person replied with an attitude, and they were like, what is this? What does this mean? And I was like, oh, return to sender just means that I'm returning the energy that you sent me. And they were like, okay, but this sounds rude to me. And I was like, that's interesting that you say that, because I've been responding to everyone like that all day and no one else has had a problem with it. I was like, can you explain to me what about it sounds rude? And they were like, well, it kind of feels like, how and this is the exact example that this person gave, right? They were like, how you and somebody might go into a test unprepared, and then the person will be like, well, good luck. And then instead of you being like, good luck to you too, you replied, return to sender. And then it kind of makes the person feel like you don't really wish them luck. It just kind of makes them feel like, what? Like, what does that mean? Now it kind of feels like it's underhanded. And I said, well, it's interesting that you say that, because return to sender is actually not necessarily a spell, but I guess you could think of it as a word spell, right? It's a spell where it's returning the energy that someone sent you, right? So if the person wishing someone good luck, if they really meant hey, good luck, I hope you the best, then return to sender is sending that energy back saying, hey, I wish you the best as well. If their good luck was, well, good luck, we'll if it was an underhanded kind of good luck, even though I know that, you're about to fail kind of thing, then it sends that energy back to the person. And then this person replies with, I didn't want an explanation of what it was. I'm just telling you how it made me feel. And I said, no, I don't think you understand. That's exactly the point. And then I told them, I said, look, I screenshot one message and I blanked out the person's information. And I said, look, this person sent me a holiday greetings or whatever as well. And I replied with return to sender back to them. And look at how they replied. They replied literally, thank you, best wishes, right? So my point in telling you this is that if you give me a well wish, right, regardless of what it is, right, if you send me a well wish and I reply return to sender, I'm returning the energy back to you as it was given to me. So if me replying return to sender makes you feel if it makes you feel bothered or irritated, even in the slightest, even if it just makes you feel oh, the cats are back, or one of the cats is back, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, even in the slightest manner, then it means that the energy that you sent me was off, meaning that you're wishing me a new year, but you don't really mean it, right? You don't really mean, which is fine, because a lot of people just tend to reach out and say, hey, this and this and this and that, and Merry Christmas, and they don't really mean it. They're just doing it to be polite, right? So it just means that the greetings that you're wishing me, or the well that you're wishing me, you don't really mean it, right? And then this person just got it was a male as well, right? It was a male. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that it was very interesting. So I was like, you know what? And he was like, his response was, well, it's not that I'm irritated about it. It's just the way that you said it sounds rude. And I said, well, I didn't say it. I typed it. So however you took it when you read it just shows the energy that you were in, because I typed return to sender. You didn't hear me say it, because if you would have heard me say it, I was not saying it with an attitude, right? I'm doing something and I'm clearing out the energy going into the new year, and you are bombarding me with your energy, and I want to clear it out, so I'm sending your energy back to you. I did not have any sort of attitude or anything when I typed it. I'm just simply saying it and speaking it plainly as I would if we were literally talking, right? And this person was like, well, it just sounds rude to me, right? And I was like, well, let me try it on a stranger, right? So I have a Eye of Horus necklace that I wear, right? And I get a lot of people that tend to ask me about it, right? So I was like, you know what? The very next person that asks me about my necklace, I'm going to try it on them, right? So I went to the store, right? Went to the grocery store, and I had someone, ask me about my necklace, and I just told them, I'm a spiritualist. It's just Eye of Horus. It's for protection, right? And I asked him, I said, I would like to ask you something. I said, I would like to ask you how this makes you feel, right? And I was like, because I had a friend who was really bothered by something that I said, and I want to ask a stranger, because people who know me, they know me, and they know that, like, I'm not the type, I'm not sending any curses, any negative energy anyone's way. I'm returning to sender, and whatever comes back to you is what you're putting out there to begin with. So, don't blame the messenger, but don't shoot the messenger, whatever. Anyways, so I said, I was like, can you just do me a favor and just tell me how this makes you feel, right? I said, can you send me a well wish, anything? And at first this person was like, well, what is that? Like wishing in a well? And I was like, no. So then I had to Google like examples of well wishes, right? And I said, these are like, well, just wishing someone well, right? And I said, just read any one of these, doesn't matter which one, just choose one and just say it to me sincerely if possible, right? Even though it doesn't have to be, because I'm asking you to do this, right? And this person says, which one did they choose? I'm wishing you peace and positive vibes, right? Which I thought was interesting, because like, you're not spiritual, but that's like the one that you chose, right? It doesn't matter, right? So I was like, okay. So I just looked at this person and I was like, return to sender. And then they start smiling. And I was like, okay, I said, let me ask you, when you sent me a well wish, and my first response before I, returned and said, I wish you positive vibes as well. When the first thing that came out of my mouth was return to sender, how did that make you feel? And the person was like, it made me feel good. They said it actually made me feel like you were pushing like positive vibes my way. They were like, it was almost like when you said it, I could feel it. And I was like, all you were feeling was your own energy, because all I was doing was returning your own energy back to you. So that's literally all that it was. And I was like, so me saying that didn't feel offensive or rude to you? And she was like, no, not at all. And I was like, okay, thank you. You helped me tremendously, right? You helped me tremendously just in this one little, 60-second, 120-second conversation, right? So I thought that was interesting. So now I'm at the point where I think I'm going to be using this all year, right? I think the definitely like, this is going to be like, and I did another short, which I may see if I can tag both of those to this video, where the year of 2025, and I do the shorts just to kind of like, because when I did the first short, Error of the Villain, or Villain Error, that was really when the dreams happened, right? But I can't always get around to making the actual videos, right? So I'm like, 2025 is going to be the year of the villain for the chosen ones, right? It's going to be the year of the villain, where for people, and I love like when someone put in the comments like repeat offenders, because I feel like heavy repeat offenders are gonna like they're gonna catch their karma this year, right? But not even just that. 2025 for a lot of chosen ones is gonna be the year of the villain, right? Where it's gonna feel like maybe people, or maybe like the chosen ones are out here putting karma or putting curses on people, but it's not that they're doing that. It's that chosen ones this year need to be selfish. You need to be selfish. You need to put yourself first and focus on you this year. And for a lot of people, you focusing on you is going to feel like you being the villain, because they're so used to you focusing on them. There are so many people who are so used to you putting them first that when you finally decide to put you first, they're going to look at you and they're going to see you as the villain, right? And there may even be some people who try to not necessarily attack you physically, but attack you through words, through gossip, underhandedly, because of the fact. And for someone, I'm getting this is going to have something to do with a job too. This is going to have something to do with a job. And coincidentally, if you are one of those people who like you've been on your job for like 10, 15 years plus, and you're thinking about changing a career, you're thinking about doing a switch or a move in your career, I would say definitely this year would be a great year to look at maybe transferring to a different department, right? So if you want to, or maybe leaving and going to a whole new facility, but I feel like if you're not happy with what you do, going somewhere different is not going to change that. It's just going to be a new environment that you're going to have to get used to. So I would say this would be a great year if one of the issues that you're having, or if you're a repeat offender, has something to do with your job or your work. I would say this would be a great year to transfer to a new department and to try something new, right? And I hate this, but if you have one of those jobs where like for you to transfer, you have to get like your manager's approval, and you know that you have like a manager or a director or whoever that is going to try to do whatever they can to stop that, then I would definitely say when you put in your application for transfer, make sure to write down specific examples, but do it in a way where, what does it say? Like, where you turn a negative into a positive, right? Like, don't go in and on your transfer application, start bashing your manager and bashing your supervisor and bashing your coworkers. Don't do that. Turn a negative into a positive. Like find some kind of way to say what's going on, but to say it in like maybe a positive or a more favorable way, and then somehow tie that into, and I would like to transfer to this department so that I could experience XYZ, and I'm looking for a change, right? But I'm just saying to do that just so, or if you do need to list certain things that are going on, definitely do that. Just don't get overly negative when you're applying to go to a different department, right? Because people will see that, right? And it just doesn't look good on you. But I will say, like, go ahead and find some way to list some things that are happening in your application. That way, if your manager does try to pull that card where they try to prevent or stop your transfer, you have some sort of documentation that you can rely back on. Instead of putting in the transfer, the manager stopping it, and then you go into HR and being like, well, they're doing this, and this. Now it just seems like you're the one that's retaliating because they wouldn't approve your transfer. But if you go ahead and get what you have to say and get your point of view and your perspective out there first, and if you do it with the application for the transfer, so they know that this is why you're trying, this has something to do with why you want to get out of this department, then if the manager stops it, then when you go to complain about it, you have a leg to stand on, like, hey, see, this is why I'm trying to leave in the first place, because this person is, and then at that point you can say, this is what's been going on, right? But anyways, this would be a great year for a transfer if your repeat offender is someone on your job, right? But this is definitely going to be a year where people are going to be looking at the chosen ones as if they're villains. This is definitely a year for chosen ones. Get ready. This is a year where you're going to be labeled as a villain. This is a year for some of you, if you have someone who's been attacking you, not physically, but like through gossip or whatever may have you, through their actions. If you've had someone attacking you, this is going to be a year where something is going to happen where this person is going to need your help. And when you refuse to extend that hand, when you say that you're going to put yourself first and you're not going to help them, this person is going to do everything in their power to make you seem like the villain when the whole time it's really been them, right? But this is definitely going to be a year where a lot of chosen ones are going to be seen as the villain, right? But all you need to do, your superpower this year, is return to sender. The only thing you need to do is take all of that negative energy that has been thrown towards you all of this time and return it to sender, okay? I was trying to get a smaller clip of the video or the background that I posted for the music and the intro, but it'll only let me do the clip so small, and then like it keeps, every time I try to edit it, it keeps like jumping and doing weird things, so I just use like a longer clip. But the only section of that song that I really wanted was when he said, I am the judge, I am the victim, and I'm the shooter, right? In the past, chosen ones, you were the victim. But this year, you are the judge and you are the shooter, okay? So all of 2025, we are returning to sender. As always, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Bye. Okay, so just a quick message. I had this video all up and ready to go, and I was getting ready to upload it onto YouTube, and something in me was like, go back and add this extra comment, right? If the person that is attacking you, if the beginning of the video resonates with you and the person that is sending attacks your way is your child, do not do a return to sender, right? Do not do a return to sender. For one, that is your child, and no matter what they do, you are very likely to forgive them. For two, whatever they're doing is not going to work. It's not going to work anyways. So all you need to do is just ante up on your protection spells. Just make sure that you are protected and you are covered. But regardless, whatever they're doing is not going to work. You're already highly protected by your spirit guides, right? So it's not going to work anyways. And for three, if you were to do a return to sender, let's say your child did something to get you angry enough for you to do a return to sender, all you're going to be doing is bringing chaos right back into your household. Especially if this is a child that is teenage age and still lives at home, all you're going to be doing is bringing that chaos right back into your household, because as long as your child lives under your roof, you are still responsible for them. So any chaos and confusion that they go through, you also are going to be affected by that. And just more so than not, because it's a child, we all know that 9.9 times out of 10, you're going to forgive your child for whatever mistakes that they make, right? But anyways, I just wanted to add that. That is the end of the video. Thank you for listening. Bye.